Welcome back to part 3 of the Puff Drink Talk podcast. Conrad here.
Hilton.
George.
Yeah.
And Sean.
Sean.
There you go.
Shit, what were we talking about?
So
Just for
no,
part 2.
the part 2, if
The hole.
ended up with the hole that maybe it being created by us taking the Venezuelan.
President
President.
Maduro.
Essentially questioning national sovereignty of, I guess, other nations.
Yeah, and the international consequences of being how we perceive the optics. It's complicated associating because you see, it's only you. If it's you only your doctrine is one thing, but you're associating your doctrine to Israel, and that is a variable that changes the calculation completely, and you're choosing favorites. And don't forget who causes all this mess in the Middle East? England and the US.
Mm-hmm.
The whole mess. It's US. You gotta own it. It's better than in many places, but you gotta own it. You fuck it up in there. So you see, it's hard because the more you try to mold, the more they adapt. Because we don't know what it is to live there. Even if you're deployed there. You really don't know what it is.
Visitors.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? You really don't know. So we are trying to say how they should live, but we would never live there. Never. Think about your experiences. You don't even visit. You don't know. Oh, I love the person there. Oh, you wouldn't visit that person there.
True, but the
Why would I
problem
go?
is, and I think Sean hit upon it earlier, is your heart goes out to people that you see oppressed.
Yes.
I still to this day think about that little girl that when we were on our convoy went out and she wasn't covered up and her dad came out and slapped the shit out of her and kicked her back inside the house. And there's absolutely nothing that we could do, anything else that could be done. But that little girl's growing up in a country of oppression where she cannot even exit the house to look at what's happening in front of her house without being fully covered and only having eyes exposed.
What confuses me is the thing. Are you going to be the police of the world, or are you not going to be the police of the world? Because look, every 4 years or every 8 years, let's put it 8 years, right? We have a shift in this sometimes inside the same party.
Yeah.
Think about
Democracy is dangerous.
Exactly.
Yes.
You see, when you go up, right, so, and you see that a span of 40, 50 years, let's say, let's plan we are like, think about that. Think about how extreme it got it to how extreme it got in the spectrum. This can't be good. Like it's your body is getting used to some type of fluid or blood or whatever, and then all of a sudden you have to change it everything, and then everything leads to corruption. Because if you want to win, you have 4 years to win, maybe 8 years to win, to change things the way you think it's right. But then if you lose, then somebody's going to do. I mean, the bar is always moving. The bar is always moving left and right. And if you are from the right and you can't see that, and you're for the left, you can't see that. I'm sorry, man. Like you're living in your world. Because what I see, even in my business, man, I've never seen people. I work with students, athlete students from Brazil and other places, to come to America to get scholarships and study American universities and get back to Brazil later.
I'd love to talk to you more about that.
Yeah,
That sounds
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so we got like D1, NCAA, so D1, D2, D3, NCAA, like all the other Mayas and stuff. So we bring students here. And I've never seen like 3, 4, in 10 years, 20 years going to Europe. Last year alone, only from the state of Rio Grande do Sul, we have 8 students applying for universities abroad. From our perspective here, like probably 30% of the students are applying for universities, and you're talking about the top, because they're tennis players, top of their, what the social class they belong to, most of them.
Yeah.
So these kids are bright, they are applying for all these GPAs, all these things, all their honor courses, extra. These are kids that are developing
Rio
developing
Grande do
things.
Sul has most of the people I met at Stanford that were Brazilian. That's where they're from.
Uh-huh.
They all speak English very well,
Uh-huh.
but like they're highly educated. This isn't a knock on like the Northeast and stuff. It's just there's something
It
like
impressed you.
the farther south you go, it's
Yeah.
better. And like even going to Argentina, it's like the farther south you go in South America. And this is not a knock on like. This is not
I
like-
understand.
I'm not
I
saying
understand where you're coming from.
It's not. It's a generalization of a perception of the most people that I bump into at
Tell him-
like
tell him
are
where
from
it
Rio
is.
Grande do Sul, and then you get into like Uruguay and then Argentina, and so it's very fascinating. São Paulo is kind of a lot of people.
Yeah, so George just passed this to me, but yeah, Rio
How
Grande do
fast
Sul
I got it,
is-
that to you.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
You see
with
the number?
most-
You see the
with
quality?
most
You see-
academics, yeah, and then the rest of Brazil is so low. But yeah, oh, that's interesting. That north was that Recife, Bahia, up north.
I don't
there?
know. Let me see which state it
Up
is.
at the very top corner.
No. Yeah, there are actually 3 states:
Yeah,
Rio Grande do Norte, Sergipe, and this one here, Paraíba, maybe. Yeah.
you're right.
So, but they're like, yeah, but not as much as Rio Grande do Sul.
Right, right,
So
right,
just for you
right.
to see, I was just studying that, just to show, I keep educating the students through social media, right? This sort of things. So yeah,
Why not China?
what do you mean?
I'm just if you're looking at kind of, I guess, university prestige and kind of, I guess, preparing people again, kind of for the inevitable change and kind of the global dynamics. As a lot of Americans have spent a lot of money to go study in China to learn Mandarin and kind of understand that place.
I think it's all about the appeal. I think Brazilians, like as in Rio Grande do Sul, 75% of the 70% of the population, I would say, is either Italian or German,
yeah.
German descendant. So it influences there. Spain because of Spanish, Portugal, especially
Yeah.
Portugal because of the language. In England for being attractive. Two of my students just got to the University of London now. They were
That's
they
an
accepted
affinity
that.
kind of.
Cultural
Yeah.
affinity, culture, codependence. There's so many, colony. We are a colony of, Portugal. Anyway, so you can tell that there, for example, in São Paulo, there are 2 million Japanese.
Yeah,
descendants.
it's
Yes.
the second most populated group of Japanese people outside of Tokyo.
More than London, more than New York.
Well,
more-
even in Japan, I think it's
Yeah.
Tokyo, and then the next most populated
It's São
city
Paulo.
is São Paulo. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, and so, So what I'm saying is that I think from there you're gonna have a strong connection to Japan now. Like shifting. So again, it's great for example, for looking for from what I see, right? University of Florida now limited the number of out of the state students
Yeah.
for the UF and for an international. So if you score like 1370 on SAT last year, you get in on UF, right? Now you have to score as international student. You're gonna have to score 1520,
Yeah.
which is very tough. You're gonna have the best international students, but overall the quality of your students are gonna go down. So is that
Maybe
now
it's a prestige thing that they're
no, it's in
aiming
Florida.
for, or
The thing is that there's a lot of influx of capital being invested in University of Austin, Texas.
Yeah, it just got named as one of the new public Ivies.
Yeah, it's the 3rd year in a row, right?
Yeah.
So one of the guys I work with is coming to study here at engineering, and so he passed in several universities, but he's chosen Austin to come. California and Florida and everywhere.
Yeah, you made a wise choice.
Yeah.
California is beautiful, and my wife, she's from São Paulo, and she, like the mountains. It has like a Brazil feel. The mountains, you have the ocean. Obviously, the ocean's not nearly as nice as Brazil's ocean. The water is completely different, but I think she has this emotional reaction to being able to go into the mountains and kind of see the ocean, like this naturistic part that, when she moved to Chicago, there's a lot of forests, but there's no mountains. And,
not mountains at all.
no, it's just, and then you get out of Chicago, it's mostly farmland. So, but I love California. It's beautiful, but yeah, just a lot of other things. Our first time we went to Dolores Park, and everyone said, go to Dolores Park, go to Dolores Park. We went there, and it was when they were doing construction, and so there was like all these barricades up around like some of the playgrounds. But then we like got there, we were just like walking around, and then we saw somebody, and this image just seared into my wife and my mind. But there was a family pushing their kid on a swing, and next to them on like 2 swings down, a guy was shooting up heroin. And I was just, I remember looking, I was like, is this real? And then
I saw that shit all the time in San Diego.
It's so weird. And then the fact that like I remember that was the conversation when we were talking. Oh, we were planning to have kids in the near future, and that's when we would go back to that. We're like, we don't want to have to like we don't feel comfortable pushing our kids on a swing next to somebody who's about to be drugged out. But it was like it was so normal. They were just pushing their kid, and this dude's doing drugs, and you're just for me it was like this is absurd. That was normal, and we were like, "This is not the normal that we want, the environment of normal that we want our kids to grow up in." It's just it's gone. Yeah.
See, man, I think we are getting to the point that we are questioning what's the right size for a city, because the bigger the city, right, the harder it is to control. Like you have to divide. You're gonna have to decentralize a city like New York. You know, you have millions. It's too hard. It's like right in a system like that, man. It's tough. It's tough. I think we are seeing that Chicago. We discussed here. Chicago's population has been down for over 80 years.
Yeah.
80 years, right? Okay, they go to the suburbs when I lived, like in Oak Park.
And they get in Chicago, and especially politicians, they hate that. I mean, they for them it's they lose their tax revenue, and their way. And again, this is kind of Chicago's an interesting city, very liberal, but because of the business aspect, like Daley, the last mayor, he ran as a Republican to become an alderman, and then switched to Democrat because in a political environment that's what you do in Chicago. And so you have people that are traditional, like conservatives, not like modern conservatives, but like traditional conservatives, like smaller government, less taxation. But they run as Democrats. But the fact is as those people, like the businesses start pushing and people move into the suburbs, so how do we get money? And they used to float all types of play. Oh, they already have tolls. And Chicago's like, well, we're going to have like an extra tax on toll roads for people coming from the suburbs. So like absurd taxes. And it's like, so then at some point the businesses are leaving, but just like their way of like, well, we don't want to look at our budget and figure out how to balance it in a way that makes sense. So let's just tax people that are commuting in who are then contributing. Because again, for me, there's like, this is where like data analytics is awesome. So like, okay, I get like you can solve your money problems maybe that way. But what happens if those people just stop commuting into the city, where they probably come, they go out for happy hour, spend money at businesses. So like there's all these secondary, tertiary economic factors going on that they're just trying to like solve spending problems by putting another tax on people that are coming to the city. But they're already spending money in the city. So it's like, again, I'm sorry. I'm going into a diatribe, but like for me, Chicago is beautiful, where it's located on the lake. You have the rivers. There's a lot of issues with it, and there's like the things that they're trying to solve are like the wrong problems to solve at this point in time. When you're trying to do reparations in a city like Chicago, I just like kind of like from whom, like from the immigrants that you can't be pro-immigrant. Right now, I was like, oh, if you're an immigrant, we got to protect you in a sanctuary city. But also, all you immigrants that help build this city, built by immigrants, probably more so than New York.
Yeah,
you guys are we're gonna take your money and tax
you, because of the Chicago fire.
Yeah. And same thing with San Francisco.
The Polish family, the Polish community. There's like over 1 million people.
Yeah, it's just like Tokyo and Sao Paulo. It's Warsaw and then Chicago.
Back in 1998, I remember there's a local newspaper in English and Polish.
Yeah,
700,000. A week or something like this.
It's huge number. Yeah.
Huge. It's huge.
Great. Yeah, huge.
When I visited Chicago 2 years ago, I think, when I went to see my sister, if you remember that.
Yeah.
You guys can hear me fine? Because
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, my microphone had dropped, and then I was
Okay.
I wasn't sure. But just like walking on the river, like on the side, I mean, at any time of the day, we would get like a breeze of marijuana. People smoking everywhere. It's like, and me and my sister were looking at each other like, everybody here does marijuana, because it's like just like it doesn't matter. And wherever we were just like walking, see on the cafes, and remember I texted her, hey, what is a good cafe for me to take my sister in Chicago? And then he gave me an address, and then just like I was walking around because I was doing that the river walk kind of thing.
Intelligentsia.
Oh yeah.
And
Which one
just
on the
like
north side?
marijuana everywhere.
There's like
Downtown.
5.
Yeah.
5 or 6 going on.
Great.
here.
I love that place.
Yeah. They still have one downtown here.
In
You have one downtown. Yeah. Near Merritt. Merritt is probably my favorite lamppost now. It becomes number 1. Merritt is the second one. Look, the locations are awesome, easy to park under the trees. So Merritt is a great option here.
I love pipe tobacco.
Yeah, I'm doing a pipe. I'm doing a pipe.
So I had a neighbor when I was young, and he had he had a bunch of different pipes. I think he was in the Navy. He's a vet back then. A lot, like there were so many.
Yeah.
Especially in Chicago, it's like where I lived in Chicago is the northwest side, so close to O'Hare. I mean, I lived off Oak Park Street.
Yeah.
But in I don't know, like Harlem and Irving, or sorry, Harlem and Foster.
Right.
And that area is a lot of like city workers, and a lot of them were vets. Old, and so anyways, it's a diatribe. He would always be outside. He'd cut the grass, smoking his corncob pipe, and you could smell it. I lived maybe like 6 houses down, and I would smell it as like a 3 or 4 year old. A very nice man to go down. He was a barber, and that smell, like you were talking about, certain things jog memory. That every time I like get the whiff of pipe tobacco, it brings me back to my childhood and my neighbor, and then like all the neighbors who obviously have all gone on to the next place in the human existence. But brings back fond memories, and I love the smell.
And,
Cool.
Same here.
Especially smell. I think
Yeah.
more than anything, like visuals are important, but we are so bombarded by visuals that it kind of we forget. But
There's some good research on the how powerful smell is at memory, recollecting. As certain smells like diesel. Oh man, like just feel like I'm back in the motor pool or something. Like certain things,
100%.
crazy.
think about the trauma for kids. Like if they associate with
Don't give a shit about any kids.
like if they
It
eat
smells like
something,
my dad's dick.
No, and they see something horrible, at the same time they are eating that thing. It's got to stick to their minds. Like they're not ready
Yeah,
for
that is
that. They're not
true.
ready for that. And as parents, you gotta have to try to catch as many as possible of those ones, and like maybe make it more natural. Normalize it.
And it's so funny you say that because I cannot do Parmesan cheese. I had a bad experience as a kid eating bad Parmesan. And now if I just smell it, like if somebody wants to put it on a salad or pizza or whatever, I just go, God, get it away from me. I'm going to throw up right now.
Yeah, that's my friend with Rumpelmans.
Yeah, and I was going to say, for the longest time, Crown Royal was that way. Yeah. Isn't that funny how you just can't get over it no matter how many years? You're just like, the smell, the flavor, it just brings back, triggers those memories where you're like, nope, going to go die in the corner. Thank you.
Back in the 80s, because of all the cars like gasoline and stuff, right? And then, but in the 80s, right? So it's carburetor. It's not fuel injection, right? So the cars would arrive and then park, and then we are playing on the street, and then we just like go in front of the car, and then you smell that burned gasoline smell. We loved that as a kid, like we all like gathered together in front of the car, like scooch down, and then just like smell the gasoline. We always loved that. So probably that's why I'm a petrol head, so I like cars so much.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know. It's like a vicious cycle that you're like, hey, I need that smell of gasoline and stuff. So
But then he ends up driving a Tesla, so
Yeah, well, but it makes sense
It's
for the
fast
business.
and cost efficient.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I see
It's
too
a
many customers.
rational decision.
What?
Would you say it's just a rational decision? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, again, I think it really depends on where you live. If you can install the charging and you're probably not commuting very far, it's
Yeah,
especially
city car.
0% financing for like what 72 months or something. I mean, yeah, when I was sitting there doing all the calculations, it's like, wow, like they say you'll save this much money, but if you actually look and kind of calculate it yourself, you realize, yeah, it's not inaccurate, but you still make it's a good trade-off.
It's not
Yeah.
neglectable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you see
I know.
the-
I just give him.
you
I
see
just give
the
him shit.
non-sexy language.
Yeah.
It's non-neglectable.
See, I just give him shit because he loves all of his racing cars and Formula One, and then he's like, "Yeah, my Tesla is pretty cool."
I mean, even the 3, I mean, you tap the pedal, you're at 60 so
Yeah,
fast. It's
I know.
nuts.
Yeah.
Where is your trophy?
Where
Where is
yeah,
your
he's
trophy?
looking for my trophy when I
Do you know
raced.
about this
I
guy
don't know
here?
where it is, but
Was it a?
it's somewhere.
Well, you can brag. You can just brag. You don't
No,
need a trophy
it's,
to brag.
so we'll bring that back again, like
Yeah,
me.
sure.
It's been probably the first brag of this year.
Yeah, the first brag of the
me
year.
racing go-karts back in the 90s, and then Nelson Piquet.
Do you know what Nelson
Senior.
Piquet is?
No.
The 3 times Formula One world champion, and he retired.
Spanish?
No, Brazilian.
Really? With
And-
that last name? Wasn't it
Nel-
Piquet married
Nelson?
to-
Nelson.
Nelson. Oh, there we go.
The son of Nel.
Yeah.
So and then he
Nelson.
and he retired from Formula One in '93, and in '94 he was there racing. Like he raced Le Mans '96 and '97, but he had retired from Formula One, and so he was on this karting race in the region and up north in Brazil, and then I beat him in the karting race. So,
Really?
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know. There's some. I married my wife over 15 years ago now, and I studied a lot about Brazil and Latin America. And so I was like, oh, I know a lot. But then I started like rodeo. Brazil's like I was like, oh,
Number
this
one.
is just like a Texas thing. No, like all of Brazil.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and then I was like, everyone's like, yeah, in the South it's huge.
country
But it's not
music.
So yeah,
Country
certain
culture.
Asia. Like it's so crazy. I was like, oh, which then it made sense when we moved to Texas. It was like, man, there's a lot of Brazilians here. There's a lot in California, but I was so surprised. And then it's like, oh, that has everything that you have in Brazil: barbecues,
Yes.
cows, like it's country music.
Have you seen Texans reacting to Brazil's country music or country culture?
No.
So they are in the corner like reacting like the hell. What? They are reacting just like you did. They are reacting to
Was it you or I think it was my wife that was telling me that there's a Brazilian band from Brazil, but they sing.
your wife? It wasn't me.
Yeah. So they're in Nashville. They're doing a tour, but they sing American country, but they're from Brazilian. They're from Brazil.
I went there.
Oh, yeah?
I went to Nashville now. We went there.
but they're Brazilian. They're all they're all Brazilian.
There's in the name. Like Tamires was trying to figure out what Brazil tour or something like this, and then we saw they were Brazilians.
Yeah, but they sing
Yeah.
country and
Yeah.
like American country
American
music,
country music.
all in English and everything. But they're from Brazil.
Man, if you haven't been to Nashville, if you guys haven't been there, our next trip needs to go there. Man.
Yeah, I know.
And the road trip is absolutely sensational.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend that. Yeah, definitely.
We have a couple of episodes about George's last trip, and actually I was at a networking event the other day, and then Rick with Glasgow Heating and Cooling, and he was like, "And you've never been to Nashville?" I was like, "No," because he watched the podcast. I was like, "Yeah, never been to Nashville," but I'm like, "Okay, that's cool. I mean, I've been watching your podcast and stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, cool."
Just the whole thing, like Vanderbilt is like in the center of the city. It's like it's one of the best universities in the West, in the center of Nashville. Then you look to the right, you see a $2.2 billion new NFL stadium with the Titans. Then you physically look to the left and you see the Predators, which is a
Yeah, hockey.
hockey team. So it's and then as you walk, you listen to you're listening to 4 or 5. I don't know. You can't even distinguish the songs, and all of them are great.
Yeah.
Like it's not like oh my god, you get tired at a certain point because it's been like 8-10 hours. Like going from bars to bars. but it's good. Like, and it's all like from 4 to 8, from 8 to 12. You know, like they have like sets, and these guys play for 4 straight hours.
Yeah, it's so
4
Austin's
straight
like that
hours.
too, right? I coming from California and Chicago, like it's not. We went to Austin the first time. There's people playing music. All places have some place like where people play music, and it's I find it amazing. Just a very different vibe from what I grew up around, right? Like,
Here?
yeah, like in Austin.
Oh yeah. But that's why Austin, New Orleans, Memphis, and Nashville is the music. I think maybe if I will have to include New York because of size, but right. So but anyway.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, cities have like unique culture aspects, right? They have like museums of art, like and music. They have symphonies, and so like I think that things gravitate towards cities, but it also I feel like nowadays it feels much more like concocted, like fake, and you like again like kind of the joke is you could just walk down Austin, you'll find better musicians than like the people that we're listening to on the radio.
Oh, absolutely.
There's undiscovered, not doing whatever you need to do in the music industry to make it.
Sell your
I've always
soul.
wanted
It's
to
hard.
yeah.
It's hard for the to making music. So
It's hard to make it into the podcast world also. And this is where we have to wrap up, and hopefully you give us a like, comment, subscribe, and what is it on Spotify?
it is
was
on
just about
Spotify.
to
Yeah.
have
Yeah, but what is it to like our program?
It's follow.
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 Follow us on Spotify if that's where you
Gotta
prefer
be fluent in all this social media.
I know. I have Amazon Music.
Yeah.
I need to diversify my portfolio. But thank you very much for joining us
Yeah.
again. This great conversation, Sean. Thank you very much for
Thank
joining
you,
us. You'll
mate.
have to come back.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
It's fun to talk.
Yeah,
And smell this great tobacco.
Cool.
Bring
Thank
back
you.
memories. All right. Bye, everyone.
Take it easy, man.